90. Look for a thunderstorm in the area Thursday afternoon. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks. I am your host, Tom Schmitz, coming to you live from the palatial studios of WOCA Radio, just outside the food court entrance to the Paddock Mall in the Brick City Beautiful, Ocala, Florida. Galen Unall usually joins us at this time, brought to you by the good folks at Penn Flooring, family owned and operated, serving Marion County for over 30-plus years. They're a full-service flooring company. They have commercial and residential experience. Go see their showroom at 1201 Southwest 17th Street here in Ocala, or give them a call at 352-351-3420. We'd also like to thank Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. They're located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street. They offer skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If you have any questions how Palm Gardens is handling the COVID-19 pandemic, give them a call at 352-854-6262. Galen Unall usually joins us this time, but he's in Costa Rica for the week. So instead, I got somebody that's probably a whole lot smarter and definitely a whole lot better looking. Sue Mosley in the building with us. Sue, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tom. Definitely not smarter and...
Well, then Galen, calm down.
Galen, no.
Look, we're talking about Galen.
No,
okay?
No.
There's fourth graders.
I mean, I'm here at like the crack of dawn, so how smart am I? And Galen's in Costa Rica, so...
I'm here every morning. See, now you make a valid point.
You know, driving here, it was nighttime. It was still dark. You know, I'm not a morning person. I usually don't even like to talk to people before 10 a.m., and you got me here talking to people.
For the entire week?
Ooh, for the week. I don't know. I might call in sick by Wednesday. You know, I'm just getting over the Rona. You know, I still got to recover.
You know, the numbers yesterday for Rona reported this morning in the paper was that there were no new deaths over the weekend from coronavirus.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that.
Only 61 new cases in Marion County. So
what's that mean?
That means that our governor is smarter than the governors of California and New York. That's what it means.
Exactly. Well, you know, it wasn't fun. I'll say that. I had, and I'm not a young person, but I'm in relatively good health. But I could see where people who have other extenuating circumstances.
This could be problematic.
Yeah, because the breathing thing, it attacks your lungs right away. And I just tell everybody, you got to, if you think you have it, get on the medication right away. I think that's what saved me. I did get some pneumonia, so I'm still dealing with that. But, you know, praise God, I survived.
You were in quarantine for a while, too.
I was, because I had started out the week earlier. I'd had a sinus infection, so I really wasn't going anywhere. So I technically, for 6 days, hadn't been anywhere before I got the Rona diagnosis. But the illness definitely changed. I started having a cough, which I don't get with sinus infections, and thought, what? And then I had a fever, and I went down quick, and then and I didn't realize this, but apparently the second week is much worse than the first week, and that's a true story. Because the first week I thought, all right, this isn't even as bad as the flu, and the second week, I was ready to die. I was going to the hospital. Yeah. I was done.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine in Jacksonville that had it. He said the first week he thought, I had the flu in 2007. It was much worse than this. And then it was like he turned a page from Saturday night to Sunday.
Night and day.
Yeah, he
Night
said
and day.
that his chest felt like somebody was sitting on it.
Yep.
He couldn't breathe. He had a fever of 104 temperature.
I had Wednesday of the second week, or Tuesday of the second week, my doctor, my physician, Mike Crimmy, who's like my brother, he was ready to send me to the hospital, and I was ready to go. And my daughter, who's...
You don't do, by the way, Sue Mosley doesn't do hospitals.
No, I don't. And my daughter's a registered nurse. I have a lot of access to medical that come to me, and they were both coming, putting on their hazmat suits and checking on me. And so I was waiting on my daughter to actually come, and we were going to go to the hospital, and the health department called me. And the girl started questioning me, about my symptoms and when I was tested and blah, blah, blah. And she had all my information and all. And she says to me, and I told her, I've got a little bit of pneumonia. I'm having breathing problems. I'm sick as a dog. I'm ready to go to the hospital. I'm waiting on my daughter. I'm waiting on a ride. And she says, okay, well, I just want to let you know you're off quarantine tomorrow. And I was like, what?
Wait, 'cause maybe I heard that wrong.
This is what's wrong with the system.
The sickest day you had was Tuesday.
And
you were going off quarantine the next day.
And then I was free to go because I was 10 days from my first rapid test. And I said to her, this is what's wrong with the system. Because if I was somebody who actually had to work for a living and was taking time off, I could have called my boss and said, listen, the health department cleared me. I'm going to throw that mask on and come to work. And I would have infected everybody. That mask wasn't saving anybody as sick as I was during that period. So, I don't think it's before is when people are passing it around. I think it's
after.
Yeah, because everybody's symptoms are different. It seems like there's a lot of different strains.
Well, it seems to me it's about as accurate as knowing when the contagious part of this is about as accurate as the stamp on a milk jug telling you when milk
expires. Exactly. Well, I keep saying, the Chinese may not make a lot of things well, but they damn sure make a good virus.
Yeah. They made a virus.
They made a hell of a virus.
Yeah.
That they did.
So but you were down because I talked to you
3 weeks.
Yeah, about 2 days before your sinus infection, and then I didn't talk to you again for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because you were just
I was
out
done.
of commission.
Well, and I really couldn't talk, which is for me, but the breathing thing was so bad in the lungs. You have a hard time talking or doing anything. 3 solid weeks I was down.
Did they do the invasive tickle your brain test?
Yes. Well, the second or third day of me whining and complaining to Mike Crimmy, he forced me to come in and get a chest X-ray because he was pretty confident I had pneumonia by that point, and I did. And, he did the blood, he did the nasal thing, he did the whole deal, and gave me great care. I mean, he's a Express Care Bellevue. I can't say enough about him. Took good care of me. But I was, somebody had sent from the fire department somebody to my house to do the rapid test, and so I knew right away. But
yeah, when you think about the care that Sue Mosley can have at her fingertips, you got a pretty good friend base that are all in medicine.
I got a good circle, so I got a good support system. I do. I'm blessed.
And remember now, this was the virus that caused the debacle with the school system and the parade.
Yeah.
But now you understand. It doesn't make it any easier what happened over Christmas.
Well,
but you understand now the seriousness of the virus, how it could affect. Although it didn't affect children, that's what got. That's what
I
gets
still
me.
have mixed emotions about that, and I'm probably going to be very politically incorrect. I know that's crazy coming from me. Surprise, surprise. Just like what we just talked about, the spreading of the virus, of the illness. First of all, I never thought the parade would be a super spreader event. I mean, just weeks before the parade, they'd had the Trump rally. They didn't find the health department. They didn't have any numbers. I didn't think the parade would because it's spaced out enough on, 2.5 miles both sides of the boulevard that people with common sense didn't have to stand on top of each other. And they could wear masks, and the people participating were spaced out enough. So I didn't agree with any of that. And after having it now, and just like what I just said about when you're sick, I think that's when people are spreading it. So if you're if you're sick, stay home.
Yes.
Stay home. Stay home.
Even if it's 3 weeks.
I mean, like I said, the health department cleared me. I could have went out. If I was not necessarily a halfway decent, smart person, I could have went anywhere. I chose not to because that was the right thing to do.
That just, to me, it just seems like they're worried about numbers, and they say, well, she's hit that date where she can go back out now.
Just go. I didn't want my own children or grandchildren or friends around me. I wasn't going to do that to anybody. When you know you're sick, just stay home. And like I said, fortunately, I don't have a job where I have to work every day. So I didn't have an office or something I had to go into or was pressing on me to get back to work. So I, was very fortunate that I could just stay home and be sick as a dog because I couldn't even stand up, let alone work.
We have to take a break now. When we come back, more with Sue Mosley, brought to you by Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation and Penn Flooring. It should be Galen Unall, but we're lucky this week.
He's on vacation.
Sue, he's on vacation.
He's a lucky dog.
We'll be right back after this timeout.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Well, hello there. Danny Boy here. Now, I've been suffering from some bad luck lately. I've been sick and weak, and I've even been falling down, don't you know? But now I've got the luck of the Irish. I'm choosing Palm Garden for my rehab. I might not find that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but I'm lucky to be getting back to my health. With a little help from Palm Garden will get me back home really fast. Visit Palm Garden, located at the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and 34th Street, right here in Ocala, don't you know?
March 19th at 8:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Philip Hockley, CS, will be Tom's guest. The First Church of Christ Scientist of Ocala is sponsoring a free webcast on March 20th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Philip will give us a preview of the live lecture, A New View of God and Its Effects on Well-Being. That's 8:35 a.m. on Friday the 19th. Brought to you by the First Church of Christ Scientist and WOCA, The Source.
Oh, hey, Grandpa.
Oh, hey, Grandpa.
Hey, Grandpa.
Yes, buddy?
Can you take me fishing this weekend?
I'd love to. Have you noticed a change in your hearing over the years? Missing the little things in life? Visit Beneficial Hearing in Ocala today. Their expert team of audiologists will make sure you never miss a moment. Call Beneficial Hearing today at 352-629-4418 or visit them online, beneficialhearing.com.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Monday. Galen Unall is usually in with us at this time, but Sue Mosley's here in his absence as he is on vacation. This time with Galen is usually brought to you. It is brought to you by Penn Flooring and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. So while you were at home recovering, how many scam calls or just calls from nobody that of any significance do you think your phone got on a daily basis? And I mean, discounting that your extended warranties out on your car. Not even those calls.
Yeah. Well, you have to answer your calls. I'm a landline till you die girl. I'll have it. I don't even use it, but I just it's a mental thing now.
You and Yunkin.
And I will have a landline till I die with caller ID. So I have
you and Yunkin both.
I don't even know what I pay for it a month, but I just love that I know that I have it. And I think I pay for like $2.99 a month on my cell phone, and it comes up spam, high risk, low risk, crime. I mean, it gives me the whole deal. But I don't answer phone calls anyway. So, like,
You
I
don't.
just don't anymore. I've gotten to the point, I think my voicemail even says, somebody said to me the other day, you have the rudest voicemail that I've ever heard. And it probably is.
It says,
What does it say?
It says, this is Sue. You reach me out to leave me a message, but if you really want to get in touch with me, send me a text.
Just text me.
Yeah.
Just text me. And then I'll, from there, I'll make the decision if I feel like talking or not. But, yeah, the scam calls are ridiculous. And it's funny you say that because my landline does ring all day long. I'm
Right.
like, who is calling? Who is?
Nobody even knows you have a landline.
Nobody even knows I have a landline. They're not calling my cell phone. And,
Well, a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, Paulie, he always thinks something must be wrong if somebody calls his landline.
yeah.
Because only scammers or his family members or close friends know his home phone
Know that number.
Right.
Yeah.
So he always thinks something must be wrong.
Well, it's funny you say that because I have 4 grandchildren and all of them know both of my numbers. And usually, if my landline rings and then my cell phone rings, or vice versa, I know it's one of my grandkids. Or my daughter, one of my kids. But other than that, but they usually know to call the cell phone first.
I always call the cell phone.
Or text. Like my oldest granddaughter knows that never to text before 10 a.m. because it's coffee time and I don't speak to people, and you have me here talking to
Do
people.
you have your granddaughter? Does she know that you're up this early this morning?
I don't.
On
I
YouTube?
haven't told any
Can
of
she watch
them.
on YouTube?
They're on spring break, right?
They are on spring
it's
break.
spring break. They're actually, I
figured out
I should. Is it live on YouTube?
It is live on YouTube.
So like people can see us,
Yeah.
huh? And then what happens? Then it's always on YouTube.
It's always
guys.
on YouTube.
So I can send her the link.
Always.
Oh, that'll bring them great joy.
622-9622 is the number to call if you want to join in on the discussion.
Oh, and we can take callers?
Yeah, oh yeah. I didn't realize it was spring break here
I don't pay attention.
until today.
Yeah.
As I'm coming by, I live out 326, way out near 326, and so I come in Old Jacksonville Road and the little Oak Crest or something. I don't know what the elementary school
Oak
is.
Crest Elementary over there. Yeah.
All I know is it's right near the Jade Lounge.
That's Oak Crest. Yes.
I know my direction. I know my directions
By
in
bars.
Ocala by the bars I've been in and out of. So, but today there were no crosswalk. Adults doing the crosswalk.
crossing the
So I was
kids.
like, oh, it must be spring break.
I know. I don't pay
There's
attention.
no teacher work days on a Monday.
I don't pay attention to school holidays either anymore now that I don't have to. And, every day is pretty much a holiday for me.
I
So
don't have children,
3 or
so-
4 years ago, I decided I was going to semi-retire. And so, I was working a pretty tough schedule, like 11 to 2 with an hour of lunch. And now I work about 45 minutes a day. So,
Tough life. you
yeah, I
live.
don't pay attention. And then you get me up at,
Yeah, well, that's because we want to talk
5
about
a.m. in the dark.
That's because we want to talk about things. See?
Because we don't talk every day as it is, so we should.
Right. we didn't see each other this weekend or anything.
We didn't spend 4 hours together this weekend.
By the way, saw Crimmy this weekend too, as a matter of fact.
He's another one. Like I said, that's like, well, you're like my brother too. I mean, you've helped me through a lot of my personal struggles.
Somebody asked me, said, so are you and Sue getting along right now? I go, it's a brother and sister relationship.
Yeah, when have we not?
Sometimes we get along. Sometimes we have words with each
Or
other.
sometimes you call me, names out the window of as I'm walking by windows.
Exactly.
That was such a sweet name that you called me. And then my first thought was when you yelled the disparaging comment out of the Charlie Horse deck window.
And you look
Saturday night, I thought, if I had a gun, I'd shoot him right now. That's how we love each other.
Yeah, exactly. if people don't understand,
They don't get it.
they just don't get it. I know she has an ice pick in her purse at all times.
At all times. Well, I'm one of those
She's
people.
Italian.
Well, there you go. I am, and not everybody understands Northern Italian either. You gotta love that. But
Yeah, I do. It's called mom.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Unless you were raised with it or raised around it. But I don't get offended easily.
No.
And I don't care. I tell that to people all the time. I'd have to care to be offended. I'd have to care, and I don't.
I saw a thing this morning, a guava bar, a juice bar in Miami's taking beef because they said on their Instagram page that all teachers who purposely have decided not to go back into the classroom are barred from coming into their guava bar.
Really?
Yeah, they put that out. Well, people said that was offensive to teachers and all, so they said, well, you know, after putting this on our Facebook page, we realized that some people are offended and all, so we just wanted to say that masks are for leftist losers, teachers that don't want to work should be fired, and women have ovaries.
Well, we should go. That sounds like our kind of place, doesn't it?
I thought, this is a place I need to go spend $20.
I would. I'll just send them money just because. Oh, God.
But it was some guava bar in South Miami. And
What is guava? Like guava the fruit?
Yeah,
like, is that a juice? I should know that, huh? But I'm not a Miami. That's trendy and cool.
But I would think
I'm probably not trendy or cool.
But I would think in Miami that's gonna have mixed results.
I think so too. I think it'd have better results in conservative Ocala than it would in Miami.
It would probably have a line out the door.
Out the door. That's true.
And now there are people who like masks that are out there screaming.
Are you a mask wearer?
I wear a mask where it's required by business if I want to go into that business. I get to make the choice on what, and that's the only way I think this can work is. We got about 3 minutes. I had to look. The only way I think this can work is if businesses do it like no shoes, no shirt, no service. Mm-hmm. You say no mask, no service. Then I get to make the decision whether I want to go in there and give you my money or I don't want to give you my money.
And there's some stores in town that are more mask Nazis than others. I mean,
the mask
Kohl's,
Nazi.
they got a commando there. Yeah. I had to leave because I didn't have a mask. I thought I had one in my purse. I thought I had one in my car. I don't know. You know, I lose track of things. I'm old. It's
Joe
not,
said,
you know.
Joe Martone went to the place for the little red bullseye that we can't say because they don't advertise with us. It's right behind the restaurant that Rondo owns on Easy Street.
Yeah. And it's early, but I got it.
Right.
Okay.
Joe went there, and they have masked Nazis at the front door.
Do they? See?
But if you don't have a mask, they say, we'll kindly provide you one.
Right.
And they give you a mask.
Yeah, Kohl's too.
Okay.
And then I held it in my hand and forgot to put it on. And I don't do it on purpose. I mean, I will wear a mask. I will. Same with you. Like, I get the whole respect thing. I do, but it's.
I like Disney too much not to wear a mask.
Yeah, now I do go to Disney and I do wear a mask. I like if it's a law.
I'm an annual pass holder at SeaWorld.
Me too.
I like masks. So, I like going.
But I honestly, most of the time I forget, and always the first thing when somebody says to me, even after having it and being sick, I'm like, are we still doing that? Are we still doing it?
I go.
We're still having Rona?
I'll go and get almost to the door of a place I know got to have a mask and go, son of a. And I have to turn around and walk back to the parking lot. But now the places you can go that there's no chance of catching coronavirus without a mask is Lowe's or Home Depot. You can go to both of those. You've been going there since the pandemic broke out, and nobody,
Well, I'll tell you,
home improvement, you don't have to wear a mask.
I never stopped going anywhere, even when you were supposed to, and people weren't. And when we were in that time of not going anywhere, I would make my rounds every day: Lowe's, Walmart, and Publix. But I know where I got the Rona from, and I'm not going to say. And it was a business, and it wasn't from another person. It was, I think, I went into something after somebody who might have been sick.
Right.
Because like I said, I had the sinus infection, so I wasn't feeling good. I hadn't been anywhere. I know the one place that I was.
You know, there's a study out now done by what was the university that did it? Stanford maybe. I saw it over the weekend that they say 73% of what all the cases they looked at were given by family members to each other.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been my case, really, but I could see where that is.
In California. It was in California. That said that the super spreader is really family members that take it back to other family members.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say because I don't want to,
right.
It was a business, but it had to be. That's the only place it could have been where I got it, which meant that there was something not sanitized, and then I picked it up from that. So I don't know.
It's time to go to break. We'll be back after this short time out in the news with more with Sue Mosley, brought to you by Penn Flooring and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The third round of stimulus checks are already hitting some bank accounts. But while some households will see the funds within the next few days, others might have to be in for a longer wait. About 85% of people will receive one of the $1,400 checks very fast. But it's likely that some of the issues that stymied delivery for some people in the previous two rounds could cause delays again. Florida authorities respond to what they referred to as one of the worst car crashes they have ever seen. 5 people, including 3 children, died when their car pulled in the path of an SUV in West Orange County, Florida.
This is an extremely rough call. We have senior firefighters who've been on the department 15 plus years, and this is never easy, especially when you talk about children. And our hearts go out to the families and to the community.
Orange County Fire Chief Thomas Veal on WFTV says the driver of both vehicles did survive the crash. USA Radio News.
Hey everybody, if you've ever thought about heirloom beans as a storable survival food, I've got great news. In fact, I'll bet it's the best news you've heard in a while. Here's the thing, we've just received a fresh batch of gourmet heirloom beans, survival soup beans. These beans are gorgeous, highly nutritious, and above all, with no hesitation whatsoever, the best tasting beans in the entire world. The best part? We've dropped the price by 33% this week for listeners who know higher food prices are coming and want an inflation hedge you can actually eat if you want to. Gets even better. With your permission and with a high regard for your health and well-being, I also want to send you 2 pounds of what we think is the single most underrated superfood in the world, period. Go to soupbeansurvival.com, that's soupbeansurvival.com, and discover the real reason we're giving this unusual superfood away at soupbeansurvival.com, that's soupbeansurvival.com.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Sun and Fun's Aerospace Expo is back and better than ever from April 13th through the 18th. It's not just an air show, it's everything aviation in 2021. And you don't want to miss it. Join fellow aviation enthusiasts as we watch mighty warbirds in flight, vintage bombers to modern fighter jets, and our headlining act, the Blue Angels, as they celebrate their 75th anniversary, where they'll unveil their newest Super Hornet. Watch the night sky gleam with our first ever amazing drone light show, aerobatic flyers, a fireworks display, and Wall of Fire. Our event takes place on 1,000 spacious outdoor acres at the Lakeland Linder International Airport, where you'll have a front row ticket to all the action at Sun and Fun's world-famous showcase of the past, present, and future of aviation. Children under 10 are free, so make plans to bring the whole family and experience 6 exciting days of the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo. For ticket information and show schedules, visit us at flysnf.org.
Oh, hey, Grandpa. Oh, hey, Grandpa. Hey, Grandpa.
Yes, buddy?
Can you take me fishing this weekend?
I'd love to. Have you noticed a change in your hearing over the years? Missing the little things in life? Visit Beneficial Hearing in Ocala today. Their expert team of audiologists will make sure you never miss a moment. Call Beneficial Hearing today at 352-629-4418 or visit them online, beneficialhearing.com.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
Think you know Dex Imaging? Think again. In the office, streamlining communications. In the field, delivering top-notch service, enhancing productivity and reducing downtime. In the data center, a part of the growing digital document revolution. In the world of business, supporting entrepreneurs and helping companies grow. In the forefront of technology, developing cutting-edge document management solutions. So if you think you know Dex Imaging, you don't know Dex.
Take a look at your lawn. Is it in need of some TLC? Check with Flawless Lawns of Ocala to learn about their excellent service. Unlike others, they take the time to do the job to perfection. Call 352-286-5300 or email flawlesslawnsocala@gmail.com. Flawless Lawns serves Marion County and surrounding areas. Why have a ho-hum lawn when it could be flawless? Again, the number is 352-286-5300. Call today.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. Welcome back on a Monday. Give you a quick look at the week ahead in the weather. Today, it's going to be about 85 degrees. Calm winds. Tonight, 60 degrees is your low. Tomorrow, it'll be 85 degrees with a low of 60. Wednesday, 88 degrees. 2 degrees from hot.
Summertime is here. Party's over.
No, not necessarily.
A couple more weeks.
It's going to be 63 will be the low Wednesday. Then there's a 50% chance of rain and thunderstorms on Thursday. Partly sunny, 84 degrees as a cold front moves in. Friday and Saturday.
What's the cold front? How much?
73 degrees.
Ooh.
It'll be 50 at night.
So that'll probably be the last one, you think?
That'll be. Last week was the last cold snap where it got in the 30s. Because it got 36 last week. There was a little frost. But I think this will be the last where the 50s are in. We're ready for hot again.
We got a good maybe 3-4 weeks before we start feeling some humidity.
So we had the time change. How's that affect you?
I hate the time change. I mean, I like that it stays. I do like this one.
I like springing forward.
I like this one where it stays lighter longer. But the whole getting adjusted to it and then you screwing up my body clock this week, making me work, and it's just going to be a bad week for me.
And you're working for free, too. That's
free,
even better.
and I can't promise you how I'm going to look tomorrow. I brushed my hair today, but...
You're free.
No guarantees how I'll look tomorrow because I'm already tired.
Let's talk about when you talk about Marion County and Ocala. I think, and I've lived a lot of places in my lifetime. I've lived in Chicago. I've lived in Fort Myers. I've lived in Atlanta for a very long time. Lived in South Georgia, North Carolina mountains. Lived in southeast and southwest Florida for periods of time. I still think the best place I've ever lived is Marion County.
Wow, I didn't realize you lived all that many places. I'm not as diverse as you.
Yeah,
I love it here. Yeah, I've gone other places to try and live for short periods and always end up coming back. I have been here. How long have you been here?
I've been here in Ocala. Well, I've been in the Hawthorne, Ocala area. I lived in Hawthorne for quite a while, since 1999.
I was 12 and I'm 58 now. So how long have I been here? Do the math. I don't do
46
math.
years.
So I've been here 46 years. And
how can you not do that math? It was.
I don't know because it's early and I don't do math as a rule and I'm dyslexic. So I need a pencil and it'd be an issue. But my dad was one of the builders that AMREP, Silver Spring Shores, solicited back in the day from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, up north to come down to greener pastures and build. And he was one of the first builders to build homes in Silver Spring Shores that are actually still standing to this day. So I grew up in the Shores.
But the Shores originally was designed to be a haven for people from New Jersey and New York to come down.
The Shores was a genius concept, truly.
The Country Club of Silver Spring Shores
from developer standpoints, the Silver Spring Shores was
And 30 years ago, 35 years ago, it was, and nothing against it now, but 35, 40 years ago, it was the upper crust of this area.
It was great. Yeah. So, yeah, I've been here a long time. What'd you say, 42 years?
46.
46 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a long time.
I didn't realize you were that much older than me.
How old are you?
54. I'll be 55 in July.
I am really old.
I didn't realize you were that much older than me.
I am.
4 years, 3.5 years. It's
crazy.
It's
I'm pushing 60.
What was your worst birthday?
They're all bad. I don't like any of them. I don't like any of them.
See, it's so much different for women than it is men.
I have a funny story, not that you care about my birthday, but my mother always acknowledged my birthday the day before. All my life. My birthday is August 16th.
That's what you went into labor.
She'd always acknowledge it on August 15th. When my mother passed away, and the next year I have a birthday, and my father calls me the day before. And I said, why, do you not know when my birthday is? I mean, should I check? Is it the 15th? Is it the 16th? My father says to me, well, I wasn't there. I was like, what? He goes, I wasn't there when you were born.
My dad was there.
He says, I was working. We didn't have cell phones. They left a message with the secretary. I was on the job. I didn't get there till late. I didn't know.
See, now I understand you and I.
So it was like uneventful being born. Nobody cared.
We're both Leos, me at the beginning of the spectrum, you at the end of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot we share. Like my father, I'm named Thomas Arthur.
Oh, my father was Thomas.
Because Thomas Owen was the chiropractor that gave my mother the adjustments when they told her she couldn't have kids anymore after her first child, that something with her cervix or something. I don't know. Guys, as soon as you say some word like that, guys like, I don't know. Yeah. So she couldn't have children. Well, then she got adjusted with the chiropractor. And remember, chiropractic in the 60s was like junk science.
Witch doctors.
Exactly.
Well, I still believe that.
So, but then she got pregnant, so she just assumed it was the chiropractic adjustment. So I got his name, Thomas Owen. I got his first name. And then my dad was a mechanic, a world-class mechanic, really, in Jacksonville, Florida. And he was out on a call helping stranded people on then US 1, because it was the main road. There was no interstate. 95 was there, but people still use US 1 and everything. And he was like 20 miles from the station when my mother went into labor. So Arthur Howard, who was at Station 2, took her to the hospital and stayed in the waiting room till I was there. Once the water broke, it was time to go. Yeah. And so by the time my dad got to the hospital, because he got back off the service call, found out that she was in the hospital, I was already I'd been born about an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's not like it is today where, the whole family packs up and goes the minute of the first contraction and you bring out the video camera and everybody runs. I mean, nobody cared back then when somebody had a baby.
My dad was
lucky if they got to the hospital.
Like, how'd you not go to the hospital? He goes, what do you mean? I was at work.
Yeah, that's what my father was
I was at work so we could pay for you to be born.
My father was like, they left a message with the secretary. He was a carpenter. He's out on a job. He didn't get it till later that night. Went home. My mother wasn't there. He thought he'd, try and find her.
Hospital.
Yeah, it was uneventful at best. So yeah, birthdays for me are just.
So you've been here then since, because you were born. If I was born in '66, you were born in '62. So you've been here since '74.
Yes, that is correct.
So you weren't here for the Buddy Martin Ocala. But you've been here since the 70s. So you remember when the square was Goss and Son.
I used to shop at Lerner's at the square.
But you remember when the square was great, and then when the square became boarded up with just the rug place and Goss and Son's jewelry.
Yeah, yeah.
How has that downtown transformed from being the center of attention to being boarded up to now back to being the center of attention?
Isn't that something? Isn't it how things come full circle? See, and I go back as far as when we were trying to revise the square again, and pretty much Judy the hot dog lady manipulated Judy the hot dog lady and the art chick. They dictated everything that went on.
The hot dog lady was the most powerful woman in Ocala when I moved here.
I used to tell Mike Finn, when I grow up, I want to get a hot dog cart and be Judy the hot dog lady because she rules the roost. I want that corner, and I actually have a hot dog cart now. I should.
When I first moved to Ocala was 2005. And she was just ending her reign.
Oh, well, she was ending it?
Yeah,
so you missed all that?
She was just ending her reign. She was, I got to see her on the square for like a year.
Back in the day, I was Ocala Junior Women's Club, which is no longer. It's a service club that's gone, like many of them. But we'd put on the Brick City Festival for years. It was an annual thing. I mean, it went for shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't. Oops,
You
sorry.
can't excuse her. You
it went
can't
on
do that.
for 30 years ish. But Judy, the hot dog lady, pretty much single-handedly destroyed it. She didn't want it. She hated everything about it. And we'd bring 15, 20,000 people down to the square on a Saturday. It was great. The shops were seeing business. And Judy would not, let the Boy Scouts sell hot dogs on that day. She was going to sell hot dogs. And
now, if people don't know, if you don't know what we're talking about, because you got Ocala later than what we're talking about, Judy used to sit on the corner right across from Mark's.
Yep, which now is the valet parking.
Right, valet parking. She would sit right there with her hot dog cart.
Set up every morning at 10 a.m.
And if you bothered her while she was setting up, she would scream at you.
And she had a palatial spread. She had chairs out and the whole 9 yards. She never missed a day. God bless her. And Judy and I, we ebbed and flowed like I do with most people. Some years she hated me, and some years she loved me.
I will tell you this, huh? Good hot dogs.
She had good hot dogs.
They were good hot dogs.
Said. I aspire.
She was the precursor.
Maybe that's what I need to do in my semi-retirement.
Judy was the precursor to the food truck.
Yeah.
The food truck boom that's going on now. She had the market cornered.
Yeah. I have a hot dog cart. I had bought one when I owned the bar. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a permit and
now
go downtown and sell hot dogs.
I think the only place I've seen a hot dog cart recently was at one of the big box stores, home improvement
the
stores.
guy at Lowe's, I do enjoy his hot dogs. He's got sauerkraut. I just had one
You can't
Saturday.
keep giving all these people free advertising.
I don't know his name. I
mean saying the big box store's name. You can't do that.
I'm not allowed to say that.
No.
I'm not allowed to cuss. I'm not allowed to. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. You're asking too much of me. You're asking way too much of me. You're expecting.
I'm expecting, exactly.
You're expecting.
Exactly.
Way too much.
So, but Ocala was people always talk about that they don't like that Ocala's growing. I still think Ocala still has that feel of when Judy was on the square with the hot dog cart.
It is a small town still.
Even though
I love what they're doing downtown on the square. I love the hotel. I love everything about what they're doing downtown. I give city council and the mayor kudos because I really, really love what they're doing downtown.
I don't know I'd go that far.
No, I do. Because coming from the time when it was boarded up and it was nothing, they've really done some good things.
One of the city councilmen, when it was boarded up and it was nothing, I know this for a fact. One of the city councilmen, in a conversation he was having at a local eatery, also thought the internet was a fad that wouldn't catch on. Okay?
I know who you're talking about.
I know. So
well, the internet's, it is bad.
but do you remember like my good friend Paulie, who you've worked with before and everything, he tells me of how when he was in high school, his senior prom, it was 71, 72, right around there, graduated from Vanguard High School, how he would go to this place called the Brahma.
Oh, the Brahma. Mm-hmm.
And how it was the best place in this town.
I'm glad, to know Paulie is way older than me. So that just made my day. But I used to go to the Brahma like I said, we came here as 12. So my parents, that was,
But the Brahma was the spot.
Oh, God. Well, we left the shores to go to the Brahma. I mean, that was a big deal. That was like, you were going out on the town. Yeah. It was a big, and, it was, the who's who. And, kind of like the old Elks Club, which was on the corner of 40.
And
Silver Spring Boulevard and 25th.
Right where the Walgreens, the CVS, whatever that is.
The Brahma and the original Elks Club were the place to go to see and be seen. I mean, that was where all the who's who of Ocala.
See, in Jacksonville, where I grew up on the north side of Jacksonville, St. Patrick's Catholic Church was run a lot like Blessed Trinity. Okay? One of the most powerful men in the city was Father Michael Larkin. Father Michael Larkin.
That's the other thing, the Catholic Italian thing.
Or Monsignor Lanahan. Either one of those were there. But when I say a powerful church, the mayor, Hans Tanzler, Catholic, went to St. Patrick's Catholic. Joe Forshey, who was city council president in Jacksonville for 21 years, because back then they didn't vote around. You kept winning your seat, and everybody said, Joe's in charge. Big Joe, he runs things. Kind of like here, Big Joe runs things. Joe Forshey and he had braces on his legs because he got hurt in Korea or something. But he was at the Catholic, he was at St. Patrick's. 4 of the 6 city councilmen all went to St. Patrick's Catholic. And so you would go to the Knights of Columbus Hall, and as a kid of 6, 7 years old, I would just sit there, and that's where my love of government and all happened. Because there was no sunshine law then. The decisions that were made for the entire city of Jacksonville were made over Budweiser's at the Knights of Columbus Hall at St. Patrick's.
Absolutely.
And it used to be a lot like that here.
Yeah.
But just not, it was more at the Elks Club than at the Knights of Columbus.
The Elks Club and what Peter Dinkles in the 1890 house, right? Or were they the same? Am I confusing? They were separate? That's year two.
Tito's building's where Peter Dinkles was, right? And I think Tito Comas moved into that building.
Yeah.
On the boulevard. Right
was that the 1890 house? Yeah, the next one down where the Hunts made the salon was the 1890 house, right? Yeah. Those were the big. Those were all the power players were making all the backdoor deals back then. See, this wasn't a largely Catholic area you're talking about in Jacksonville, because I did that whole Catholic mafia thing, between the Catholic Italians and the Catholic Polish. Forget it.
And the Catholic Irish of the Jacksonville area was, and the Germans that settled there.
We had more of a Southern Baptist convention here.
But downtown though was a blighted area here.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was. How
did it become that way? Was it?
I don't know that story.
I remember because I remember when J.C. was on the corner, and Alderman's Drugs, Lerner's. We used to shop. Me and my mother. That's where we go to shop. And then Pine Plaza had a shoe store in there, and Grant's was in there. Where the police department was Grant's. At some point, Service Merchandise was where Midnight Rodeo was.
Wasn't there Western Auto in the Pine Plaza at one time?
12, Western Auto probably wasn't something my focus was.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know.
Not.
We're talking about. But I was where
people forget the
there
first
was a
Publix
shoe store.
People forget one of the first Publix in town was where Staples is now on the boulevard.
Yeah, that was the original Danish bakery again. And you got the green stamps.
But look,
were you here for green stamps?
My dad, no, in Jacksonville, my dad was on service stations. Well, we gave S&H green stamps out with gas. So I stayed in the S&H green stamps.
It was Publix, the Danish bakery, which was part of Publix, and then the S&H green stamps.
Yeah.
And Woolworths with the little dinette, kitchenette. What's the word? Luncheonette.
The lunch counter.
Lunch counter. Yeah, I love that.
But let's be honest.
And J.M. Fields.
Even though you're talking about the bakery and all that was there, the best bakery in this town was Andrew's Bakery on the square.
And Mr. Andrews, that is exactly. He was. Well,
he made his son Raymond a master baker.
Master baker. He can make a hot cross bun. What's the bun? What's the bun?
The sticky
Get
bun.
Raymond needs to call in and tell us about the bun. I love Mr. Andrews. He later went on to make gel cake. He was working for the county at the sheriff's department making the gel cake, and I used to enjoy that.
Yeah.
When we did Leadership Ocala, we'd get to eat gel cake and. It was actually Andrew's Bakery cake. Right. It was good cake.
Well, my understanding is Andrew's Bakery was thought of the way Betty Cakes is thought of now.
Now, yes. Yeah.
That was how Andrew's Bakery was thought of.
He's a legend.
And it was right next to the Marion Theater.
Legendary. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. I was trying to think of. I knew it was down there.
It was right next to the Marion Theater.
Yeah. All right.
So you could go get you a little Danish or something and go in and see a movie. Now, what was your first recollection of the Marion Theater? Was it? Did you go see first run movies?
I don't remember, but I'm trying to think. Key Jewelers was where I got my first engagement ring, which is what what's Carciola's place called, the Lodge.
Yeah,
that used to be Key Jewelers.
Long before it was a Starbucks.
And the Andrews was right at the same time. I don't really have I didn't do the Marion Theater much.
I know that Baram, who owns the Oriental or the Oriental Rug Company down on the square right next to the restaurant, he told a story about how when the downtown was all boarded up, he told this story on this radio, as a matter of fact. When it was all boarded up, him and Jerry Goss got together, and they would get their friends to park around the square so it looked like something was going on. And then they bought a van together and would take their friends to work and then bring them back from work.
So the cars would stay?
So the cars stayed downtown so it looked like it was busy.
It's funny. They were the lone survivors, man. Is he still the rug guy?
He's retired.
He retired?
He's retiring. I hadn't been downtown and to look. I haven't noticed because he's going out of business. Or he's going out of business sale. But he's been here a long time.
Yeah, he survived. He was, man. You wouldn't think there's that big of a market for Oriental rugs.
He tells a great story about how you never know who walks into your store. And he told a story one time. He said it was about 10 minutes till close, and this was 1996, 97, 95, something around there. About 10 minutes till close. And this beat-up Ford pickup pulls up out front. And a guy gets out in a mechanic's uniform, got grease on his arm, dirty, mechanic's rag in his back pocket. He walks in, cigar in his mouth, walks in, he goes, "I'm here to look at rugs." And Bahram said, I could have said, we're about to close now. He said, but you just, the man came in to look for rugs. I'm in the rug business. I'll show him around. That's what I do. So he showed him around. Man stayed for an hour and 30 minutes looking at all kind of rugs. Looked at rugs from anywhere from $2,000 to $30,000. Okay, now this was in the 90s. So, the guy said, "You have a business card?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, thank you for your time," and left. Didn't buy a thing.
Really?
Said about 3 weeks later, about 10 minutes till he's about to close, a Bentley pulls up out front, and a lady gets out dressed to the nines, and a man gets out in a three-piece suit. And Bahram said, something about him was familiar, and then I saw the cigar.
Oh.
And I knew this was my mechanic guy that 3 weeks earlier had walked around for an hour and a half and didn't buy anything. He came back in. The wife started looking around. $1.2 million later.
I was going to say $100,000 worth of rugs, but geez,
$1.2 million later.
Wow. So you never
know who it was?
Who?
Bill France, the man that created NASCAR.
Really? NASCAR, sure. Wow.
But it's just a story on
that. Is a good story. So Bill France came to Ocala to buy an Oriental.
Well, he'd been to Tampa, Orlando. He told Bahram he'd been all once he came back, and that Bahram he went to every one of them dressed like a mechanic bum, and the only person that showed him around and treated him with any respect was Bahram. So he came back and spent all his money with Bahram.
Yeah, wow.
That just shows you that you never know.
You never know.
Who might walk into a building.
Well.
It's not always going to be Tom Schmitz.
That's right.
It could be somebody with money.
I dated a fella who used to underdress like that had a lot of money. That people,
all the time.
People misunderstand him all the time.
The first time I met him, when I left from meeting him.
This person I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. I said, "That's that guy?
That's him?
That's that guy,
That's
right?
him?
That really?"
Yeah.
And Polly was like, "Yep,
yeah.
that's him."
I had a story. We were in Montana one time, and we were at this cute little restaurant, and I'm a fan of coconut cream pie, and got some pie with dessert, and we were going up to the house where we were going to be a while. It was far away from everything. So I wanted the pie. So he asked the lady, how much do you have a whole pie? And she says, "I do, but it's a lot of money."
Because you got to pay for it by the slice.
Yeah, you got to pay for it by the slice. She said, it's $3 a slice, and there's 10 slices, so, I'd have to charge you for the whole pie. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't, that's a lot of money for a pie." I was like, "But I really want the pie." But, she says, "Yeah, you don't have that kind of money to buy that kind of pie." That was the end of that. I would have had 10 pies.
Oh, he'd have bought the restaurant.
He'd have bought the restaurant. It's kind of like, you want the pie and the restaurant? Or, I just want the pie.
But, you
pie.
never know.
Never know.
One of the richest men in Jacksonville, one of the richest guys in Jacksonville, is Bill Gay of W.W. Gay.
Oh, okay.
And before Mr. Gay passed away, the man that started it, he would go to the Pig Barbecue on Lem Turner Boulevard. That's where he grew up. He grew up over there. And he would sit in the booth. And now everybody knew Mr. Gay, knew who he was. But if you didn't know who he would sit in a ratty little cardigan sweater with holes in it, and he wore jeans that had holes in them, and they were dirty, and he wore work boots and a shirt that just said Bill on it, and you'd never know he was quite possibly one of the 3 or 4 richest men in the city of Jacksonville.
Yep.
And this was in the 70s.
Yep.
So, hey, so the hour went by. You going to stay a little longer?
What am I going to do? What do you need me for?
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know. You got me awake. I can't go back to sleep yet.
It's not like you can go back to sleep now.
It's not like I got work to do or anything.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm saying. 1370 AM and 96.3 FM. This is WOCA. Sue Mosley joining me through the week as Galen is out on vacation. Brought to you by the good folks at Penn Flooring, family owned and operated in Marion County for over 30 years. Also, Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center located at 2700 34th Street right here in Ocala. We'll be right back after this short timeout. You're listening to WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security on Saturday ordered emergency agency FEMA to help care for a growing number of migrant children arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border. More than 3,600 migrant children were being held in the United States border facilities as of Thursday morning. The Senate Judiciary Committee recently held a hearing to consider civil rights attorney Vanita Gupta for Associate U.S. Attorney General. That would be the number 3 spot in the Department of Justice. Gupta is facing immense scrutiny from Republican senators. Gupta called the confirmation of now Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett illegitimate. She called Judge Kavanaugh a privileged lifelong partisan. The Senate Judiciary Committee must vote to move forward Gupta's nomination before the full Senate has a chance to confirm her nomination. Uncertainty why only 75% of the House of Representatives is confirmed as vaccinated against the coronavirus is starting a debate whether the chamber can return to normal. USA Radio News.
You've heard of cancel culture. They want to ban Dr. Seuss books from our schools. And some want monuments for George Washington and Thomas Jefferson removed. If you're fed up with cancel culture, watch Newsmax TV. Each night this week, Newsmax exposes the dangerous agenda of cancel culture. Tune in tonight for blockbuster shows with Greg Kelly, Grant Stinchfield, Rob Schmidt, Sean Spicer, and Lindsay Keith. You'll be surprised by what you see. Everyone is talking about Newsmax. Now, America's fastest growing cable news channel. It's on all major cable systems. If you don't get it, call your operator. Tell them you want it. Newsmax is also free on smart TVs like Samsung, LG, Vizio, and platforms like Roku, YouTube, Xumo, Pluto, and more. And download the free Newsmax app on your phone and watch it anywhere. Every day, check Newsmax.com for breaking news and watch Newsmax TV for the news you need to know. Millions are watching. So can you.
Former general counsel for the Hillary Clinton 2016 presidential campaign and John Kerry 2004 presidential campaign, Mark Elias, is in some hot water. Jeremy Scott with the Oregon USA Radio News Bureau reports.
Mark Elias led a team of attorneys to file lawsuits to expand ballot access in swing states. Republicans and former President Trump criticized him, saying that he was being used by Democrats to steal the 2020 election. The Epoch Times reports that Elias has been sanctioned by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, and several of his colleagues were admonished. The sanctions are for an ethics violation and submitting a redundant and misleading filing.
Elias is the head of the political law practice at Perkins Coie, a large Seattle-based law firm with many political clients.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Peanut planting is just around the corner. Scott Munford, peanut specialist in Georgia, asking him about the seed situation at this time.
Well, Tyron, the seed situation this year is a lot better than it was last year for certain. Our seed quality looks good so far. At least that's what's been reported. I would encourage growers to think about one thing when they start to plant this seed is not to put these fertilizers in, because we had found out last year they are causing reductions in emergence, and we just completed some research trials that actually is showing the same thing that we saw in the field. It's dramatically dropping the emergence rate or the germination rate, so please be careful with putting stuff that we don't recommend like that in fur.
Farmers are looking for 3 days, keeping that soil temperature about 65 degrees, and we'll get the peanut plants planted.
Welcome to the All In for Citrus podcast. There's a new resource available that brings all of Florida's citrus research together, delivering it right to you on your computer, phone, or tablet. Introducing the All In for Citrus podcast from UF IFAS in partnership with Southeast AgNet. The monthly series spans the Sunshine State with research project updates from the UF IFAS statewide citrus team. Listen to the latest episode by searching All In for Citrus on iTunes, your favorite podcasting application, or at citrusindustry.net.
Smart shoppers will tell you they found it on HighBid.com. HighBid.com lets you explore thousands of auctions across the U.S. and around the world. You'll find gold coins, sporting goods, classic cars, collectible toys, fine jewelry, household items, and sports memorabilia autographed by the greats. HighBid.com has hundreds of thousands of items for sale every day. It's easy to search and it's easy to find auctions in your area. Just go to HighBid.com. That's HIBID.com and see what everyone is talking about.
Southeast AgNet is social. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, where you could be sure to find all of the agriculture news for the Southeast.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Partly sunny and warm today with a high of 84 to 87, then mainly clear this evening, low tonight 61 to 65. Tomorrow will be partly sunny and warm, high Tuesday 84 to 87, then Wednesday will be mostly sunny with a high of 87 to 90. Look for a thunderstorm in the area Thursday afternoon. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Welcome back to hour number 2 on a Monday in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida. This is Ocala Talks. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz. In studio with me, Sue Mosley. She ain't got nothing else to do, so she already told you she only works 45 minutes a day, so... She's
and you're cutting into that now, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
Hey, the Easter Bunny is here at the mall. We'll be here through April 4th, Thursday through Sunday. Times are 4 to 7 on Thursdays, 4 to 8 on Fridays, 2 to 6 p.m. on Saturdays, and 1 to 4 p.m. on Sundays. All of that through the rest of the month until April 3rd, except for one day. That is this Wednesday, St. Patty's Day. The Bunny will be here from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. There's going to be an Easter egg hunt on March 20th in front of Macy's. You got to register for that. There are limited spots. It's for any children under 12. It includes an egg hunt, bunny ears, Easter egg hunt bag, 1 4x6 print digital download photo with the Easter bunny. Go to eventbrite.com, hide peep egg hunt tickets. Also, Cute as a Bunny Crafts is Tuesday, March 23rd. That's for toddlers 5 years and under, and it only costs $5. It includes Easter crafts and egg hunt with eggs based on the age group. The Easter Bunny will be available for pictures for purchase prices. This is a great opportunity to skip the bunny line and visit him before the mall opens. So the Easter Bunny is here at the Paddock Mall until April 3rd. April 4th, Easter Sunday, he won't be here, but up and through April 3rd, he will be here at the Paddock Mall. The Paddock Mall, which I just found out, opened August 13th, 3 days before your birthday, or 2 days if your mom was alive.
Yeah, according to my parents.
3 days before your birthday, your 18th birthday.
Was it my 18th? Yeah, 1980?
Yeah,
yes,
that was your 18th
that's
birthday.
correct. Yeah.
So
and I was here. I was here
13th,
when the doors
1980.
opened, because there's nothing I love better than an opening. Like, I don't miss a new Publix opening.
I bet when this place opened, it was a slammer. It had to be people
Taj
everywhere.
Mahal. And it had amazingly fabulous things like Taco Viva. Taco Viva. People should call in that know about Taco Viva. Posted on my Facebook.
622-9622.
Taco Viva was the bomb.
Put your headset on. You said somebody should call in? Right now, somebody called in.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about Taco Viva?
I don't know. Good morning, caller. You're on with Sue Mosley and Tom Schmitz on Ocala Talks. Hello.
Good morning.
Hey, Hugh. How are you? Good to talk to you.
Pretty good. I can hardly hear you.
You can hardly hear us, huh? I don't know what's going on.
On the radio, but I can't hear you on the phone.
Oh, you can't hear me on the phone?
Huh.
I don't know, Hugh. We're here.
Are you calling about Taco Viva?
Give us a call back. Call us back.
Okay, I'll call back.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there.
Was that a friend, like a personal call?
No. He calls. He was a caller to the show. His wife, Linda, was a volunteer of the year before at the Humane Society.
Oh.
And yeah, Hugh and Linda. Hugh's been a loyal listener and a loyal caller to this radio show for a very long time.
Oh, is that him calling?
That's him calling right back. Yeah. Hugh, are you there now?
Yeah, I'm there, but I can't get you on the phone, but I can hear you from the radio in the distance.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know why you can't hear us on the phone, but good morning to you.
Yeah, good. Hey, very interesting program talking about the history and past of Ocala, downtown Ocala. The question I have is, when did Paddock Mall get built, and did that have anything to do with the effects of downtown, the square?
You know, the Paddock Mall, we were talking about that. We were in the middle of talking about that. August 13th, 1980, and I do believe the downtown, it coincided with downtown going down. I'm glad you brought that up.
We were trying to figure that out, what kind of was the ruination of downtown. But you're exactly right, Hugh. It was the building of this mall, I believe. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
That took a little bit of the thunder or the attraction away the square then, right?
Yeah, because Lerner's was downtown on the square, and I remember it was one of the first stores
in the mall.
So Lerner's was a big deal, and Penny's, J.C. Penney's, which was on the corner across from Alderman's, they came out here.
Falvey's was downtown, wasn't it?
And Falvey's came out here. Yeah, that is what happened.
Hey, thanks for the call, Hugh.
See,
okay, thank you. That was a very interesting program. And keep it up. It's very enlightening to find out what's going on in our city.
So he should pay me, right, Hugh?
No.
To be here?
Hugh's off the line already. Hugh's already off the line.
Has anybody ever said your program was interesting before me being here?
I'm just saying.
Nah, I don't know.
All the time.
That one guy, somebody posted on my Facebook that they do listen to you, but today is the best show you've ever.
622-9622 is the number to call. Yeah, so that's right. Hugh was.
He just solved the case because he's right. Everybody that was downtown on the square left and came here. What disloyal people. Yeah.
No, but that, you remember though, people forget. They think malls are this. Malls have been around forever. Malls really started popping up everywhere in the late 70s, early 80s.
Well, and we used to drive to the Gainesville Mall, not the. Oaks Mall,
right?
But the Gainesville Mall right. Before this mall came, and then when they built the Oaks Mall, they put the Gainesville Mall basically out of business.
They did put it out of business. Yeah.
So it's the evolution of, and now it's interesting because what happens now? Look, we look at this empty Sears, which I still can't believe that Sears is gone, and
120 years gone.
That's crazy. That is just terrible.
But my first job ever. Of any significance. I mean, I was a busboy at Athens Pizza, which was owned by the Stenopolises in Atlanta, Chamblee, when I was 15, I think, 14 maybe, bussing tables. And it was the Italian restaurant that when you think about Italian restaurants, it's the one you get in your mind. It had the red and white plastic checkered
My first waitressing job was Bellevue Pizza.
Right. It had the Chianti bottles with the candle stuck in it. Oh, yeah. And I was a busboy there. So, but my first job of significance, that was under the table. You got tipped out by the waitresses. It wasn't really a job that you got a check for.
Right.
The first time I had to pay FICA, I was 16 years old, and I worked at the All-American Chocolate Chip Cookie Company in the Perimeter Mall in Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah, right. Chamblee, Perimeter was in Chamblee, so it wasn't like, but then I went from there to become the assistant manager at 17. By the way, they used to trust 17-year-olds, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do. See, we have such similar backgrounds because my first job was a waitress at Bellevue Pizza. I'm sure I was terrible. But my first legit job was I drove the delivery truck for Lovell Brothers Auto Parts in Bellevue. Lovell Brothers. Now, there's not a lot of people. You probably don't even remember Lovell Brothers, but Lovell Brothers. But I was
well, the Lovell
16.
family, though. The Lovell family married into the Martin. The Martin family family and the Lovell family married in together.
Well,
so I know the Lovell family.
But I was 16 years old, probably a terrible driver anyway, and they gave me a 3 on the column.
Three speed
on the column. And I had to go to all of the mechanics in Bellevue and Ocala to deliver auto parts at 16. Can you only imagine how terrible I was at that job? I don't know. I think I only kept it because I was cute, and they're like, is this girl going to show up?
You basically...
Is she going to make it?
You basically were a cart girl on a golf course, but you were delivering parts.
But I was delivering auto parts. I mean, how I ended up doing that, and I did enjoy it. God, I think that's...
At 17, I moved from Perimeter Mall to the Lenox Square Mall because I became an assistant manager of the Lenox Square American Chocolate Chip Cookie Company.
Wow.
So I went from making $2.11 an hour, which was minimum wage,
right,
to $2.90 an hour.
That's yeah. Now I went from Lovell Brothers, even more history here, to Burger King, then owned by the Camp. Well, actually, it was owned by Peggy Litt, the Litt family, and Gene Camp and Merritt Ford had just bought the first Burger King on the boulevard, and built the new one. Was building a new one. I was part of the new build and the new building. I was the drive-through girl at that Burger King for a long time, and I think I was making like $3 an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. When I hear they're fixing the state of Florida.
Yeah.
That the people in the state, the conservative state of Florida, that passed this moronic $15 an hour minimum wage.
Did it pass?
Oh yeah, it passed.
I didn't
flying
think it did.
colors.
When does that go into effect?
This year they got to go up to $10 an hour.
So they're staggering it.
Yeah. By 2026 it'll be $15.
That is crazy. Crazy.
For a minimum wage job, people go, well, people need it. They need to make a living at minimum wage. No. Minimum wage jobs were never meant for you to make a living.
Yeah.
Minimum wage were starter jobs for teenagers.
God.
Or jobs that tided you over till you could find something better.
You'll be now paying $22 for a salad at lunch.
You were never supposed to be at McDonald's as a front counter person
at 45
making
years
minimum
old.
Wage for 20 years. That was not what you were supposed to be doing. See,
I worked at McDonald's too. I worked at McDonald's in Bellevue.
I never did the whole fast food burger joint thing. I did the opposite fast food. I did the Blimpie subs and Subway subs, and then the only place that cooked hot food I worked at Arby's. But when I worked there, they only had 3 sandwiches: the large, the small, and the beef and cheddar. That was it.
That's real easy.
that was it. But I was
always in the drive-thru. I don't know why. Maybe because I had good hand-eye coordination.
I worked so long ago at Subway that we actually cut our own meat when I worked at Subway. I was 17 because I left Chocolate Chip Cookie Company, went to Subway. So I'm 17 operating a meat slicer. No problem.
Yeah. Now, I was 18 and I worked at Winn-Dixie, and it was when you actually had to ring up each item. And you had to know what it was. Like, there's no scanning, none of that.
No.
So,
I saw a father. This is a very good story that talks about it. I saw a father in the grocery store the other day. And he had his daughter, and she was buying something with her money. She had a little change person, but she pulled out some money, and he goes, now, how much should you expect back? And made her tell the cashier how much change she was expecting back.
Oh.
Without looking at the register or anything, he made her do the math. And I thought, that's something you don't see anymore.
Yeah, that's a great lesson.
I went to one of these discount stores. The outlet stores we have here in town and everything. I went to one of the outlet stores over in the Six Gun Plaza. I won't say what outlet store I went to, but over in the Six Gun Plaza.
I'm trying to think. It's one of my favorite outlets.
It is. And if you pronounce it wrong, you say Beals, like Paulie does.
So I can't say names of stores and I can't cuss. I'm just trying to get radio etiquette down.
But Bills.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
So I went to Bills.
And we should talk about what a travesty it was that Six Gun Territory closed, but we'll save that.
We got a whole week.
Yeah, we got a lot.
So we're at Bills, and I go and I bring 2 shirts up. They look exactly the same. They are exactly the same, except one tag says 2XL and one tag says 2XX. One was $9, one was $8. I go, why are these $8 and $9? Which one is? She goes, well, obviously one's a 2XL and one's a 2XX.
Makes perfect sense.
I go, okay.
Okay.
But why are they different prices? She goes, sir, one is 2XX and one is 2XL. And I go, I know.
It's the same thing.
But it's the same
You became
thing.
a high talker?
I said, it's the same thing.
thing.
She looked at me, she goes, no, it's not. One is 2XL, one is 2XX. The L and the X are different. That's the reason.
I'm trying to think if that might be logically true, but I don't.
No,
can't
because it's
find
not
a
extra
way
long.
That, yeah.
If it's long, it's LTS.
Oh.
So the manager comes over and goes,
they're the same thing.
They're the same thing. Sorry, sir. I don't know why. We'll sell them both at $8.
Yeah.
So my other story about something like that is I went to a local fast food restaurant. I got something to go real quick. It was $1.52. Handed the girl $2. She rang $2 in. I said, oh, I got 2 pennies. So I handed her 2 pennies. She goes,
you messed her up there.
She looked at me. She looked at the screen. She looked at me. She goes,
now what do I do?
I said, just give me 2 quarters.
Let's
it's fine.
call it a day.
She goes, no, I don't know. And I go, no, sweetie, it's 2 quarters. First, she looks at me and goes, first off, I'm not your sweetie. So now she's calling
now she got an attitude.
Now she's calling attitude. I go, I understand. My apologies. But I gave you 2 cents on top of $2. So $2.02, $1.52 from $2.02 is 2 quarters. She goes, hold on a minute.
Oh, my God.
She went and got her manager.
No way.
Manager comes up and goes, what's the problem? I go, I gave her $2.02. She rang in $2 because I didn't give her 2 cents fast enough. So it says 48 cents, but she really owes me 50 cents. The manager goes, looks at the register, looks at me, looks at the register and goes, but it says 48 cents.
He didn't know either.
I went, but I gave her $2.02. Did I give her $2.02? She goes, yeah, he gave me 2 pennies afterwards, but why would he do that? The manager goes, give him his 2 pennies back and give him 48 cents.
Oh, my God.
Now, needless to say,
you can't say,
it didn't end well.
You can't say anything. What are you going to do?
It didn't end well.
Did you correct them? Did you educate them?
I started using the noun, pronoun, adverb, adjective. You know, the word starts with an F that we all use. That
you're not allowed to say on the radio, apparently.
So by the end of it, as I walk out, I'm sure everybody in the back was like, why is that crazy white man so mad? It was all my fault.
It was all your fault.
Oh, 100% it was my
You're just
fault.
being, unrealistic.
But so that's why I was so excited when I saw this father teaching his 6 or 7-year-old how to make change.
I'm going to have to do that with my grandkids. That is actually very good. But
because here I had a register person and a manager. And the manager's solution was give him his 2 pennies back and then give him the 48 cents the register says. Which, by the way, is the same as 2 quarters.
That was, even for my dyslexic self, I knew how to do that. But, yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, so.
And just the whole making kids pay for their own stuff. I mean, my grandkids are, I pay for everything. But I'll tell you a funny story about, I have 4 grandchildren, and they're getting older, so they like to shop for their own birthdays, and I'll take them, and we have a nice little day. And, the first birthday sets the tone for how much the birthday gift is going to be, so they're always even, so I don't get accused of favoritism or anything like that. And my youngest granddaughter, she's 6, and her brother is, 10 or 9, or I don't know how old they are. Anyway,
you do realize these are your grandchildren, right?
Yeah, I know. Listen, if I had to probably name them, I couldn't. But anyway, I had 2 of them. It was the brother's birthday, and I have 3 girls and 1 boy, and it just shows how good the boy is. But his older sister had gotten a birthday before. I said, listen, she spent $80. You can spend $80, get what you want, blah, blah, blah. So he was just sick. We were in Walmart. He couldn't make the decision. He was like, it's too much money. It's too much money. I can't spend that much. I'm like, Colton, just get what you want. Be, happy. It's your birthday, blah, blah, blah. So finally he picked something out for $50. I said, listen, you got $30. You can get something else. He goes, no, this is enough. I don't need anything. Such a good boy. So sweet. His 6-year-old sister turns around. She goes, well, can I get something for $30 then? She's like, I'll take what he doesn't want.
Yeah. I had a story like that, but it was my mother. and I'm sure you have this same story. Your mother's taught you lessons before, because we pretty much had the same type mother. She went into 7-Eleven one day, and to get something for my mother to buy us something special, pretty much the sky had to open and God himself had to say, Geraldine, buy the kids something, you know. So she comes out with 3 small Coca-Cola ices. She gives one to my sister, one to my other sister, gives one to me. I go, I don't even like Coca-Cola. Why do you get cherry?
Oh.
Out of my hand it goes.
Snatched.
Thrown into the parking lot. You'll get nothing, you little, you know. My sister, without missing a beat, goes, I would have ate that, Mom. Why'd you have to throw it away?
You didn't have to throw it away. I'd taken it.
Yeah, my sister, not worried about that I just got my icy thrown in the parking lot. My sister goes, Mom, why'd you do that?
Why'd you waste
I'd
it?
ate it.
Yeah, why'd you?
Oh, without even missing a beat.
Not even.
My sister doesn't care that I'm devastated that I'm not getting icy or anything. All she wanted to know is, Mom, why'd you do that? I'd ate his icy.
It's all about me. That's no waste. That's Emma. That's my little Emma.
Yeah.
She's like,
I need his icy.
she didn't miss a beat. $30. There's $30 on the table here. Let me step up to the plate. Because she got in the car and she's like, Mom said it's Colton's birthday, so I can't get anything, but I thought maybe I could just get candy. Yeah.
You know, we're going to take a break soon. When we come back from break, I want to ask you, because you've lived here for a very long time.
Apparently, would you say 48 years? 42?
46.
46. Mm-hmm.
But there's a dichotomy in this town that exists today that I think has probably been here as long as this town's been here. And I'll ask you about it when we come back from break, because it is one of those things that makes it and keeps it a small town feel. Because it didn't happen like this in Jacksonville, where I grew up.
Right.
It did happen like this in Statesboro, where I spent all my formative years in Statesboro, Georgia, small town Georgia. And it happens here. And so I'm going to ask you about it.
And I'm glad, yeah, because it is still happening, but it's a dying breed. It's sad. We're losing a lot of...
It is still, there's still good old boy system here in some senses. There's still a sense of, there's a group of people who are for lack of a better term, the oak trees of Ocala, who still, even though their time may be past them, they still share a lot of influence in this town,
yeah.
even though they're in their 70s or 80s, because of, and I'll give you a prime example. One of the most well thought of, and one of the people that people look for him for advice on almost anything, has been retired for a very long time, and that's Gerald Ergel.
I knew that's what you were going to say. And I was just going to say, and Gerald Ergel, saw that I had the COVID the other day, and called me 5 times to make sure to, just check on me. And
but a man who's been involved in Ocala and Marion County.
And he's a born and raised, right? He's born and raised here.
He was deputy sheriff here. So, but it's that type of feel.
Yes.
That keeps us. And then there's another situation here in this town that, luckily, I'm not experiencing it now, because the girl I'm engaged to, Susan, is from Chicago. She's a transplant. She's been here for a year and a half, 2 years. But the girl I dated right before Susan, I experienced with a lot.
Yeah.
And that's, well, we'll talk about it after the break. Because the girl I dated before Susan, you knew very well.
Very well. For my little baby girl.
Yeah, you know her very well. So it just, maybe you can help me understand it.
I can. I'm sure that
we'll talk about it when we come back.
And I'll name drop. And
we'll talk about it when we come back.
Talk about people.
Because it's just, it's a tough thing to do.
So we're going to gossip in the next
No, we're not going to gossip.
I think we should.
Well, we might. We could. I mean,
might bring the ratings up.
But I know that you've dealt with this, in your 46 years being here, you've dealt with this kind of problem or issue before, and it was one that, in Statesboro, I was one of the originals. I wasn't born and raised there, but I was there so much from my childhood and all, that it's like you. You weren't raised here. You were 12 years old when you got here. But everybody that I talked to, Sue Mosley's an Ocala original to most of them. And that's how I was in Statesboro. So I didn't see it in Statesboro the way I see it here, because I'm even though I'm from small town Florida, grew up in Callahan, Florida, Jacksonville, the area, and then moved to Statesboro and all, I know what a small town in Florida is like, but I'm not from here. Even though I can act like I might be from around here, I'm not from around here.
Yeah, you have a good knowledge base. You do for not being here.
Yeah, but
forever.
I make sure that you need to know your surroundings. Yeah. So, but I want to talk to you about something that it's weird how it gets you, and it's something very, 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 very real in Ocala that a lot of people will understand. We'll talk about that next. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA. The Source. Hey, by the way, EJ Nieves is outside doing the painting on the mural on the wall. I'm going to go out and get an update on that, too, during the break. So we'll be right back after this short time out on WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security on Saturday ordered emergency agency FEMA to help care for a growing number of migrant children arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border. More than 3,600 migrant children were being held in the United States border facilities as of Thursday morning. The Senate Judiciary Committee recently held a hearing to consider civil rights attorney Vanita Gupta for Associate U.S. Attorney General. That would be the number 3 spot in the Department of Justice. Gupta is facing immense scrutiny from Republican senators. Gupta called the confirmation of now Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett illegitimate. She called Judge Kavanaugh a privileged lifelong partisan. The Senate Judiciary Committee must vote to move forward Gupta's nomination before the full Senate has a chance to confirm her nomination. Uncertainty why only 75% of the House of Representatives is confirmed as vaccinated against the coronavirus is starting a debate whether the chamber can return to normal. USA Radio News.
Rockstar Radio. Did you know